Oh, hello there. You've just caught me reading my new favorite book. I suppose you're wondering who I am. My name is Heather, and I want to take some time to share with you a few of the things I've learned from reading this wonderful book here. To start, I'd like to tell you who I desire to become. If I was to have every wish that I've ever had as far as personal achievement is concerned, I would like to become a published author of several best-selling novels, and perhaps even the publisher of a few AAA game titles. I want to be known for being a good and fair person, for being understanding and open. I love the strategies for finding my life's task. I'll list off the strategies and then share my insights. The first one is return to your origins, or it's also known as the personal inclination strategy. For me, from the time I was little, I've always loved stories. I remember listening to my dad read bedtime stories to me as a child. And instead of putting me to sleep, they would captivate me and I would listen enraptured to what was going to happen next. Shortly after that, I began experimenting with telling stories of my own. From a young age, I learned through trial and error how to tell captivating stories. This led me to start experimenting with writing in junior high, and that's a talent that I've been trying to develop ever since. The second one is occupy the perfect niche, or the Darwinian strategy. Um, an insight really that I had from this is just that I need to keep my eyes open and my mind open for what the perfect niche might be for me. I can't say that anything I'm doing yet is truly in a niche all its own, but that is something that I am hoping to discover soon. The third one is to avoid the false path, or also the rebellion strategy. And this one was particularly painful and enlightening for me. Um, I had an experience when I was around 14 or 15, and my mom asked me what my plans were after high school. And I told her that I wanted to become an author. She asked me if I was planning on going to college, and I responded that the only thing I could think of that college might help me with was getting an English degree, which I didn't think was worth the time and the effort that that would take. My mom then informed me that I needed to go to college, or I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make enough money, that kind of a thing. And that news was very painful. It was hard to hear that, and it's also kind of what got me started on the false path to begin with. I spent years in the workforce trying to get to school to figure out my future, and now I feel like I'm starting to find the right path that I belong on, the path that I don't know if I should have been on, but the path that I want to be on. The fourth strategy is to let go of the past, also referred to as the adaptation strategy. This one was key for me. I tend to get so wrapped up in the past that I forget to be in the present. There are some good things that I can take from my past on the false path, however, and that is that I have gained experience with software testing, I've gained experience in accounting and customer service, and of course, I now have my bachelor's in web design, which I'm sure will come in handy. The fifth strategy is to find your way back, or the life or death strategy. This one spoke to me and didn't at the same time. I've definitely felt the despair of being on the wrong path, of trying and feeling like you're not making it. I totally understood that. I also loved the quote on page 42. It was the thought of applying myself to the highest advantage of others. I want my creations to bring as much joy to others as I've received from the stories and the media that I've enjoyed. I also appreciate the idea of reframing my life experiences, and instead of looking at them as failures, looking at them as learning experiences. For my turning point story, I want to go back to the third strategy of avoiding the false path. As you may have gathered from the things I've mentioned in this video, I have been on the false path for more than a decade. My turning point was after I was fired from a job by a new manager who replaced the previous manager that I got along with really well. And I realized that there was no such thing as job security, that I was done spending my time trying to work for other people who weren't going to appreciate those efforts. Also, I didn't want to end up in another soul-crushing job just because it paid well and allowed me to make a living. My dream career path now would be to start my own company. I still haven't decided what kind of company, but I want to work for myself and ensure my future myself. My two goals to help me achieve that and start in that direction now is number one, to study coding for 15 minutes a day. I think that's very manageable and something that will help me out in my future career. And also, number two, to take 5 or 10 minutes a day and give myself a pep talk or positive self talk and just try and help build that self confidence, that drive to maintain that passion and to show myself that I can do this. I know that you can fake it until you make it, and I want to make it more than anything. So if I can't get it from others, I'll have to give it to myself. Thank you for listening. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to finish chapter 5.